The hidden psychology behind women and love. Have you ever noticed how some men seem to effortlessly connect with women, while others are left feeling confused, trying to decode their every word? What's the secret? What if I told you it's not about playing games, flashy gestures, or pretending to be someone you're not? The real key to understanding women and love lies in mastering ancient Stoic principles, and here's why it works. Imagine unlocking the hidden psychology behind women's hearts without the need for manipulation or tricks. What if the real magic happens when you truly understand the deep, often unspoken emotional needs of women? Stick with me in this video, and by the end, you'll discover powerful insights into how women think, feel, and connect. These aren't just abstract ideas. These are tangible tools that will transform how you approach relationships. So, what's the first step to building a meaningful connection with women that goes beyond surface-level interactions? It starts with understanding the importance of emotional connection over mere words. Emotional connection over words. In relationships, the old adage, communication is key, holds a lot of truth, but not in the way you might think. The type of communication that truly matters isn't just about the words exchanged. It's about the deeper, unspoken connection beneath them. For women, emotional connection often speaks louder than anything else. It's how a man listens, reacts, and shows up in the moment that forms the real bond, not just knowing what to say. Women are incredibly intuitive and emotionally tuned in. They pick up on feelings and energies that often go unspoken. They can sense the atmosphere in a room, read the subtleties in body language, and feel the emotions lingering between words. So, while a man might be focused on the literal content of a conversation, he may miss the deeper layers of meaning that are more important. To truly connect with a woman, you need to look beyond just verbal communication. You must tap into the emotional undercurrent that flows through every interaction. Think of it like tuning into a song, not just hearing the notes, but feeling the rhythm and melody that brings it to life. One of the most effective ways to build this deeper connection is through presence. It's about more than just hearing her words. It's about truly listening. And yet many men make the mistake of thinking they need to offer solutions or try to fix problems during these conversations. In reality, many women simply want someone who can be there for them emotionally, someone who listens without judgment. By truly being present and listening without rushing to correct or provide answers, you allow her to feel understood on a deeper level. This level of emotional presence creates an intimacy that words alone can't match. So how can you apply this emotional connection in your own relationships? Stay tuned as we explore more Stoic principles and how they can help you form meaningful, lasting connections with women. In the previous section, we explored the power of emotional presence and the role it plays in building a deeper connection. Now let's dive into an even more essential aspect of communication that will help you form an unshakable bond with a woman: the power of silence and emotional intelligence. Being present also means embracing silence. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, especially in a world that constantly pushes us to keep talking, to always communicate. But the truth is, sometimes silence speaks louder than words. When you're able to sit with someone in a quiet moment, allowing the emotions and thoughts to naturally rise, it shows a level of emotional strength and confidence. Think about it. In those moments of stillness, you're not rushing to fill the gaps with words. You're comfortable being in the moment, knowing that sometimes it's the silence that truly allows connection to deepen. And here's the kicker. It's in these quiet moments that true emotional intimacy often flourishes. For a Stoic man, mastering the art of presence is vital. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them, and this applies directly to how we communicate as well. By not overreacting or feeling compelled to dominate every conversation, you open up a space where emotions can flow freely and be fully understood. In this way, emotional connection can unfold naturally, without the pressure of forced words. When you stop trying to control the conversation, you start allowing the conversation to control itself, creating a safe, genuine space where both parties can share and listen without interruption. The beauty of emotional connection is that it often transcends words. You see, a woman may not always remember the specific words you said, but she'll always remember how you made her feel. Did she feel understood, valued, emotionally supported? Was she able to express herself freely without feeling judged or rushed? If the answer is yes, then the real bond has already been formed. This is where emotional intelligence becomes so attractive. A man who can read and respond to emotions, both his own and hers, demonstrates a level of maturity and understanding that goes far beyond physical attraction. He's tuned into her feelings, and even more importantly, he's secure within himself to allow those feelings to unfold naturally, without trying to control or manipulate them. In summary, to truly build a deep emotional connection with a woman, focus on being present, actively listening, and reading between the lines of the conversation. Stop trying to control the dialogue or dominate the conversation. Instead, let the emotional energy guide your interactions. When you prioritize connection over conversation, words themselves become secondary, and the bond you create becomes the real foundation of your relationship. Now, let's take a step further and explore a key emotional dynamic that women crave. In relationships, the balance of security and freedom. How can you provide both in a way that nurtures a lasting, healthy connection? Stay with me as we dive deeper into understanding these two essential needs. In the previous section, we discussed the importance of emotional presence and how it can strengthen your connection with a woman. Now, let's dive into an essential dynamic that every successful relationship needs: the balance of security and freedom. Let's start with security. At its core, security isn't just about financial stability or physical safety, though those can play a role. What women truly crave is emotional security. It's the sense of knowing that they can trust you with their most intimate feelings, that you'll be there for them during tough times, and that you'll remain a stable and grounded presence in their lives. A Stoic man embodies this type of security by being consistent, dependable, and emotionally controlled. Emotional security is built when a woman feels safe enough to share her vulnerabilities without fear of judgment or rejection. She needs to know that she won't be belittled, dismissed, or ignored for expressing her true emotions. When she feels confident that you can handle her emotional ups and downs without losing your calm or reacting impulsively, it fosters a sense of deep trust. Stoicism teaches men to stay composed and not to be controlled by fleeting emotions. This steadiness becomes incredibly attractive because it creates a safe space for her to express herself freely, without the fear of triggering negative reactions or feeling misunderstood. But here's where it gets interesting. Women also need freedom. Freedom doesn't mean distancing yourself or becoming indifferent. It means allowing her to be her authentic self. It's about giving her the space to pursue her own passions, interests, and friendships. Freedom in a relationship is essential because it lets her individuality thrive. A healthy relationship is built on two people growing together, not one person trying to mold the other into something they're not. The key is allowing space for growth and personal development. Stoicism teaches men not to cling or act needy, but rather to remain secure within themselves, even within the context of a relationship. A man who is confident enough to give his partner space without the fear of losing her shows incredible emotional strength. This kind of emotional independence demonstrates that you're not seeking constant validation from her. Your self-worth is rooted in who you are, not in how much attention or affirmation you receive from the relationship. Women deeply respect men who don't try to control them or restrict their independence. They appreciate a man who encourages them to grow, evolve, and pursue their own path. When you give her the freedom to explore and be her true self, you create an environment where she feels empowered. She'll know that you will be there for her, strong and steady, when she needs you, but you won't impose on her sense of autonomy. By offering this freedom, you allow her to come to you willingly. She doesn't feel pressured or obligated. She feels the space to choose you, to want to be with you, because she trusts you and values your steady presence. This dynamic creates a powerful bond. When a woman feels both secure and free, she's able to fully express herself in the relationship. She knows she can rely on you for emotional support, but she also values that you respect her individuality. This delicate balance between security and freedom is the foundation of a healthy, thriving relationship. It's the key to building a bond that stands the test of time. So, how can you continue to build on this balance in your relationships? Stay tuned as we explore even more Stoic principles and how they can help you strengthen emotional connections without losing yourself in the process. As we discussed before, a Stoic man embodies the perfect balance between being a solid, dependable presence while giving his partner the freedom to flourish. Now let's dive into another powerful trait that sets the Stoic man apart: the power of vulnerability. The power of vulnerability. Vulnerability is a word that often carries a lot of misconceptions, especially when it comes to relationships. Many men are raised to believe that showing vulnerability or any sign of weakness will cause them to lose respect, particularly from women. But here's the truth. Vulnerability, when shown the right way, is a tool for deepening emotional connections. In fact, it can become one of the most powerful assets in your relationship. Women in particular are deeply attuned to emotional authenticity. When they sense that a man is being open and genuine, it can form a profound emotional bond. But the key here is understanding what vulnerability truly means. It's not about constantly airing your deepest fears, anxieties, or seeking constant validation that would only come off as emotional instability or neediness. In the Stoic sense, vulnerability is about sharing parts of yourself, your hopes, dreams, struggles, and yes, even fears, but doing so without losing control over your emotions or your sense of self. It's about owning your imperfections without allowing them to define you. Imagine this. You're sitting across from a woman having a deep conversation, and the topic shifts to challenges you've faced in your life. Instead of brushing it off or pretending that everything's always been perfect, you share a meaningful story from your past. Maybe it's about a career setback, a personal loss, or a time when you doubted yourself. But here's the difference. You don't get lost in the negativity or spiral into despair. You share how you face the struggle, what you learned from it, and how it made you stronger in the end. This approach shows that you're human, but also resilient. Women are drawn to men who can own their vulnerabilities, not as a sign of weakness, but as a signal of confidence. A man who is comfortable admitting his imperfections without crumbling under the weight of them demonstrates immense inner strength. Vulnerability isn't about losing control or showing weakness. It's about showing depth and authenticity, saying, "I'm not invincible, but I am capable of handling life's challenges." The crucial distinction here is that vulnerability should never slip into neediness. It's about being real and grounded, not desperate for attention or reassurance. So how do you strike the right balance between being emotionally open and maintaining strength in your relationships? Let's explore further as we move into understanding how emotional intelligence and Stoic principles can help you navigate the delicate dance of vulnerability without losing your sense of self. Stay tuned for more insights on how to build lasting, meaningful connections. As we've discussed, vulnerability can be an incredibly powerful tool in relationships when done right. Now let's dive deeper into another key quality that can transform your relationships: emotional self-control. Women respect men who can be vulnerable, but they don't want to be expected to fix your problems or serve as your emotional crutch. If you show vulnerability in a way that seems like you're constantly seeking validation or emotional support, it can backfire. Instead of deepening the connection, it might make you seem overly dependent or insecure. Think of vulnerability as revealing a layer of your humanity, but without losing the core of your strength. When you share vulnerable moments with a woman, you invite her into a deeper connection, but only if you can maintain your emotional balance. Admitting that you've had moments of doubt, failure, or hardship doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. But here's the important part. Instead of wallowing in those moments, you show how they've shaped you into someone stronger, more resilient, and more grounded. This is the kind of vulnerability that builds trust and deepens attraction. Vulnerability, when done right, isn't just about revealing your flaws. It's about sharing your growth and showing your ability to rise above adversity. A Stoic man's vulnerability is a quiet strength, an invitation to connect with his true self, but never an open wound that demands constant care. It's this balance of strength and openness that creates an unshakable bond with women. They can see you for who you truly are, and they will respect you more for it. Now let's move on to a quality that is often overlooked, but incredibly attractive: emotional self-control. In a world where emotions can run high, especially in relationships, the ability to remain calm and composed is a trait that's highly desirable to women. Stoicism, with its core philosophy of mastering one's emotions, offers a framework for maintaining this control. It's not just a way to navigate life, it's a key ingredient for building lasting connections. Women, as we know, are often more emotionally expressive than men. This can sometimes lead to situations where emotions rise quickly and tensions can escalate. During these moments, the way a man responds can completely change the dynamic of the relationship. Imagine a scenario where emotions are flaring, voices are raised, and the situation is getting heated. A man who quickly loses his temper or reacts with frustration might add fuel to the fire, intensifying the conflict. In contrast, a man who remains calm, collected, and measured in his response brings a sense of stability and reassurance. His emotional self-control is like a breath of fresh air, cutting through the storm of emotions. Instead of escalating the situation, he brings peace and clarity to it, allowing both of you to address the issue more effectively. This ability to remain grounded during high-stress moments is incredibly attractive because it shows inner strength and emotional maturity, qualities that any woman would admire in a partner. So, how can you cultivate emotional self-control in your own life and relationships? Stay tuned as we continue exploring how these Stoic principles can not only make you more attractive, but help you build deeper, more meaningful connections that stand the test of time. As we've seen, emotional self-control is a key trait that helps build trust and respect in a relationship. Now let's explore how women often test a man's emotional resilience and why this is so important in the dynamic of attraction. Women often unconsciously test men's emotional resilience. These tests aren't meant to provoke or challenge a man on purpose, but they arise naturally as women try to gauge how a man handles pressure, emotional intensity, and difficult situations. When a man responds with emotional self-control, he passes these tests with flying colors. It shows that he isn't easily shaken, that he remains steady even when things get tough. This kind of resilience, the ability to stay calm under pressure, signals strength. It tells her that no matter what challenges come your way, you have the emotional fortitude to face them head-on. A man who remains composed in tough situations becomes incredibly attractive because he offers a sense of security that's hard to find. Emotional self-control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or ignoring your emotions. It's about not reacting impulsively to every little inconvenience or emotional outburst. Instead, a man who is emotionally grounded takes a step back, assesses the situation, and responds thoughtfully. He doesn't let his emotions control him. He's in control of them. This is the hallmark of a dependable man, one who creates a safe emotional space where a woman can feel secure. This dependability is something that women deeply value. It's like having an anchor in a world full of storms. When everything around her feels chaotic, knowing that you can maintain your composure gives her the peace of mind to trust you. Trust is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, and when you show emotional steadiness, you're building that foundation every single day. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while we can't control external events, we can always control how we react to them. This principle works wonders in relationships. Life is unpredictable, and you'll face challenges, stress, and emotional turbulence. But how you respond to those challenges is what really matters. A Stoic man knows that while he can't control someone else's emotional state, he can always control his own. Emotional self-control is not about shutting down your feelings or becoming cold. It's about managing and directing your emotions in a productive, balanced way. When you can manage your emotions effectively, you can still be empathetic, kind, and understanding, qualities that women deeply appreciate. The key difference is that these emotions are coming from a place of inner strength rather than emotional instability. A Stoic man doesn't shut off his feelings. he channels them wisely, creating a balance between emotional availability and strength. This combination of emotional self-control and empathy makes a man stand out in a way that's hard to ignore. Women are naturally drawn to men who provide a calm, steady presence, especially during difficult moments. This signals maturity and leadership, and a man who can stay grounded through emotional storms becomes a reliable anchor in the relationship. That's the kind of man who earns respect and admiration. Ultimately, emotional self-control is one of the most powerful ways to create lasting attraction. It shows that you're confident, grounded, and strong, qualities that women instinctively find irresistible. It's the foundation for building a relationship based on trust, respect, and emotional security. So how can you continue to develop and strengthen this emotional self-control in your own life? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into how mastering this skill can transform your relationships and help you become the kind of man women truly desire. As we've discussed, emotional self-control and strength are key qualities that women find irresistible. Now let's delve into another important aspect that can completely transform your relationships: the art of giving without expecting anything in return. The art of giving without expecting, one of the most profound insights found in both Stoicism and relationships is the ability to give without expecting anything in return. In today's world, where many relationships are transactional, I'll do this for you, but what do I get in return? This principle stands out as something rare and deeply powerful. For those with a Stoic mindset, love and generosity aren't about receiving a reward. They're about true selflessness. When applied to romantic relationships, this philosophy can completely change how a woman perceives you. Women, like all people, have an innate ability to sense a person's true intentions. If a man gives with the expectation of something in return, whether consciously or unconsciously, it creates a subtle tension. This makes the woman feel as if she owes him something, whether it's attention, affection, or even validation. Over time, this dynamic can breed resentment or mistrust, as she may start to feel that every kind gesture has a hidden agenda or comes with a price tag attached. But when a man gives freely, out of genuine care and compassion, without expecting anything in return, the whole dynamic changes. It communicates that his value is not dependent on external rewards. He's not looking to control or manipulate her through his actions. Instead, he's offering his kindness simply because he cares. The real key to mastering this art lies in understanding that love and generosity are most powerful when they are truly selfless. A Stoic man recognizes that his acts of kindness and love shouldn't be driven by a need for reciprocity. When you give without keeping score, it opens the door for deeper trust and connection. Women subconsciously notice this difference. It's not about the act itself, but the intention behind it. So why is this approach so incredibly attractive? First and foremost, it shows emotional independence. When a man doesn't need a reward or recognition for his actions, it signals that his sense of worth doesn't rely on external validation. This is one of the most powerful traits in any relationship. It communicates that you are grounded in who you are, that you are confident, and that you don't depend on others for your happiness or sense of self-worth. When a woman sees that, you're giving out of genuine care without expecting anything in return, it removes the transactional element from the relationship. She feels safe to give back naturally, without the fear of being guilted into it. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the importance of emotional independence in relationships and how to foster an environment where both partners feel secure and respected. Stay tuned for more insights into creating meaningful, lasting connections built on Stoic principles. In the previous section, we discussed how giving without expecting anything in return fosters a deeper, more meaningful connection. Now let's take a closer look at how this selflessness builds a relationship based on trust and respect, not transaction. Giving without expecting cultivates trust. When you give without expecting anything in return, you're not just offering a gift or an act of kindness. You're cultivating a relationship based on trust and respect rather than a transactional exchange. In relationships where every action is a tit-for-tat, things can become strained over time. These kinds of dynamics can start to feel less like genuine connections and more like business transactions. Each party is only giving as much as they think they'll get back. By letting go of the need for reciprocation, you communicate to her that your love, care, and support are given freely, without any conditions or strings attached. This creates a safe and nurturing environment where both partners feel valued for who they are, not just for what they can offer in return. When there's no scoreboard to keep track of, the relationship naturally becomes healthier and more relaxed. Moreover, Stoicism teaches that the greatest reward in life isn't in what others give back to us, but in the act of giving itself. The inner peace and contentment that come from being selfless are far more satisfying and enduring than the fleeting joy of receiving something in return. This shift in perspective can drastically change how you approach not only relationships, but life in general, making your connections more fulfilling and meaningful. When you practice giving without expectation, you align yourself with a higher form of love, a love that's not driven by the need for personal gain, but by a genuine desire to nurture, support, and uplift the other person. This is where deep, lasting connections are truly formed. The woman in your life will recognize that your care is genuine, not motivated by selfish desires or hidden agendas. In the trust you build, you lay the foundation for a deeper, more authentic bond. Building trust through consistency. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, especially in romantic ones. For women, trust isn't just about believing you won't betray them. It's about feeling emotionally safe enough to open up, to be vulnerable with you. But the tricky part is that trust isn't something that can be built overnight with grand gestures or dramatic moments. Instead, it's something that's built slowly and steadily through one simple, powerful trait: consistency. Consistency means showing up day in and day out with the same level of integrity, reliability, and sincerity. It's about making sure that your actions match your words. It's in the small, everyday moments where your dependability shines, the times when you follow through on promises or when you're there for her even when it's inconvenient. Women naturally seek someone they can rely on, and this reliability gives them a sense of emotional security. It tells her, this man will be there when I need him, in good times and bad. When you consistently show up, she feels safe. She knows she can trust you, and that trust is the cornerstone of your connection. As we continue, let's explore how consistency and emotional support can strengthen the bond between you and your partner. How can you ensure that the trust you've built stays strong and continues to grow? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into how to maintain and nurture the trust that has formed between you. In the previous section, we explored how consistency forms, the bedrock of a strong, lasting connection. Now let's dive into the specifics of how you can demonstrate this consistency and build unshakable trust in your relationships. But how exactly do you demonstrate consistency in a relationship? It all starts with keeping your promises. Whether it's something as simple as showing up on time for a date or something more significant like supporting her through a tough situation, you need to follow through on your word. Broken promises, no matter how small, will erode trust over time. On the flip side, when a woman sees that you consistently keep your word, she begins to feel safe with you. She knows that if you say you'll do something, you will do it, and that is an incredibly powerful feeling. When she sees your dependability in action, it creates a deep sense of trust. She knows she can count on you, and this trust is essential for building a solid, meaningful relationship. Consistency also translates to emotional stability. Stoicism teaches us that we shouldn't be swayed by life's highs and lows, that we should remain calm and composed regardless of the external circumstances. In the context of a relationship, this means emotional steadiness. Women notice when a man can remain centered, especially during moments of stress or emotional intensity. Imagine this scenario. Things aren't going well, emotions are running high, and yet you stay calm, patient, and measured. This shows that you are in control of yourself and your emotions, no matter the situation. This kind of emotional consistency provides a sense of security because she knows you won't react impulsively or erratically. Instead of adding fuel to the fire, you bring peace and stability to the situation. Another important aspect of consistency is reliability over time. It's not enough to be dependable for a week or two. You need to show your reliability over the long term. A Stoic man understands that trust isn't built overnight. Trust is a long game, one that requires consistent effort and investment over the course of months, even years. Women naturally gravitate toward men who show that they are consistent over time. They want to know that the man in their life is not swayed by temporary passions or distractions. When they see this kind of consistency, it builds a deep, unshakable foundation of trust. A woman is far more likely to open her heart and invest in a relationship when she sees that the man she's with is dependable not just for a short burst of time, but consistently through the ups and downs. Finally, consistency and respect is absolutely crucial. Respect her feelings, her opinions, and her boundaries, and do so consistently. When a woman feels respected over time, she feels valued. This deepens her trust in you and strengthens the bond between you both. It's not about agreeing with her on everything. It's about maintaining a baseline of mutual respect that doesn't waver, even during disagreements or conflicts. In essence, consistency is the key that unlocks a woman's trust. It's a slow and steady process, but once trust is built, it forms a bond that is difficult to break. A Stoic man knows that building trust through consistent actions is far more powerful than relying on fleeting words or temporary emotions. It's the consistent actions over time that create lasting emotional security in a relationship. So, how can you continue to foster this deep sense of trust and consistency in your relationships? Stay tuned as we explore how these Stoic principles not only help create trust, but also elevate the connection in your romantic relationships, paving the way for even deeper bonds. In the previous section, we explored how consistency and trust are essential in building lasting connections. Now let's shift our focus to another key factor that can greatly influence attraction: independence. Independence breeds attraction. One of the most powerful, yet often overlooked traits that can deeply attract women is independence. But what does independence really mean in the context of attraction? It's not about being aloof, distant, or emotionally unavailable. It's about having a strong sense of self, personal goals, and a purpose that doesn't rely on anyone else's validation. Women are drawn to men who lead their own lives, pursue their passions, and maintain a healthy sense of detachment from the need for constant approval or attention. This self-sufficiency is incredibly appealing because it signals confidence, strength, and emotional stability. When you are independent, you communicate that you are not emotionally dependent on anyone else for your happiness or self-worth. When a man is self-sufficient, it sends a clear message. He has his life in order. He's on a mission, building something of value, and he doesn't need anyone to complete him. This autonomy is inherently attractive to women because it suggests that the man isn't constantly seeking validation or reassurance. Instead, he's already fulfilled by his own purpose and is simply sharing his journey with her. A man with his own path is incredibly attractive because it signals that he's not desperate for someone else to fill the gaps in his life. He is complete on his own, and that emotional independence creates a balanced, healthy dynamic in the relationship. On the flip side, a man who is overly dependent, whether it's relying on a romantic partner for emotional support, validation, or even basic decision-making, can often come across as needy or insecure. This creates an imbalanced dynamic where the woman feels as though she is the center of his universe, which can diminish the attraction over time. Independence helps avoid this trap by ensuring that both partners maintain their own identities, interests, and autonomy within the relationship. A key element of independence is having a strong sense of purpose. Purpose drives a man forward, giving him something to focus on beyond the relationship itself. Women are naturally attracted to men who are driven by something greater than just romance, whether that's career ambitions, personal growth, creative projects, or fitness goals. A man with purpose doesn't just drift along in life. He has a vision, a direction, and the motivation to pursue it. This makes him more interesting and dynamic, and subtly signals to her that he won't sacrifice his goals for the sake of a relationship. It's this balance of independence and passion that creates an even stronger connection. So, how can you cultivate this sense of independence and purpose in your own life? Stay tuned as we explore how to create a lasting and meaningful bond while remaining emotionally strong and building on the idea of emotional self-control and independence. Let's take a deeper look at how these principles can create a magnetic energy that draws women in. Now let's explore how independence, when properly balanced, becomes the key to lasting attraction and connection. A man who is deeply committed to his own growth and success exudes a certain kind of magnetic energy. His passion for life becomes contagious, and it draws people, including women, toward him. Independence, in this context, isn't about being aloof or emotionally unavailable. It's about being so focused on becoming the best version of yourself that others can't help but notice. Women are naturally drawn to men who are passionate, driven, and on a mission, because these qualities reflect strength and purpose. Maintaining independence in a relationship also involves finding the right balance between being available and respecting each other's space. While emotional connection is crucial in any relationship, constantly being available or overly accommodating can actually diminish attraction. Women value a man who doesn't drop everything at the drop of a hat. Instead, they admire someone who sets boundaries, prioritizes his time, and sticks to his commitments. This creates a sense of healthy tension and mystery, which keeps the relationship dynamic and engaging. It adds an element of excitement and intrigue, giving her space to miss you, to wonder about your life outside the relationship, can significantly enhance attraction. When she sees that you're perfectly capable of living a fulfilling life on your own, it makes her desire to be part of it even stronger. This space not only fosters a healthy amount of longing, but it also reinforces the idea that your world doesn't revolve around her. You have your own pursuits, your own passions, and you're living a full life independent of the relationship. From a Stoic perspective, independence aligns with the idea of focusing on what is within your control. Stoicism teaches us to not base our happiness on external factors, such as seeking approval or affection from others. Instead, we should cultivate inner strength, wisdom, and emotional resilience. By practicing this, you naturally become more independent because your sense of worth comes from within. It's not reliant on external validation. In relationships, this Stoic principle of self-sufficiency prevents you from becoming emotionally entangled in unhealthy dynamics. A man who is grounded in his own purpose and emotional stability doesn't fall into the trap of reacting impulsively or becoming too dependent on his partner. He remains composed, calm, and emotionally centered, even in stressful situations. This inner calm, this unshakable confidence, becomes an aura that women find irresistibly attractive. In summary, independence is incredibly attractive because it shows that you are a man who is whole on your own. You have your own life, your own goals, and you're not looking for external validation to feel good about yourself. This kind of independence fosters respect, admiration, and lasting attraction in any relationship. Women admire a man who doesn't need them to feel complete. Instead, they want to be part of his already fulfilling life. Understanding the secret psychology of women and love isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. As a Stoic, you cultivate inner strength, emotional resilience, and a sense of purpose that naturally commands respect and admiration. When you embody these traits, you'll attract women who appreciate you for who you truly are. Stay tuned as we continue exploring how these Stoic principles can help you build stronger, more meaningful relationships.